To that, we can add why Trump wants Canada as the 51st state. All of this is in the same melting pot of ideas, confusing most Canadians right now.
So whoever that was speaking was not the real Charlie. Mm-hmm. Surprise. A younger version of. I wonder what the real guy would look like now if we saw him.
Yeah.
And the world. Okay, so I do think it changes, and we're going to find out it changes everything. I think it was a calm. I think it'll take time for that to be revealed, like in a more specific way, but it was absolutely the soft reveal. See the world there? The world says takes us to a whole new level. Mm-hmm. So him saying that, the person that said that, who's like, looks like a younger actor, is saying something that changes the whole landscape and gives us, a heads up that the landscape's changed. Okay. And then see this ending. It's surrounded by two ending cards. So this, what he's talking about actually happened a long time ago, possibly, and we'll get to that, I guess, but possibly around the date that's indicated right above Charlie Pance's head.
Literally I'm gonna get to that in just a moment. While you're there, let me show that screen here. We saw the 2017. Some constitutional scholars here in Canada were referring to maybe the 150 year in terms of our constitution, but it also collides with the inauguration of Trump, January 20th, 2017, mm-hmm. and the capitulation tour that ensued after that. Yep. Remember when he was walking in front of the Queen, again suggesting that the power structure had already changed at that point. Maybe we're coming to the conclusions now of all of these comms and for this number of years. So what do you see on the bottom row there, Janine?
Yeah, so this card is, so it starts with an ending card, so it already happened, and then everyone finds out it already happened. Mm-hmm. Okay, so it ends the way things we've been led to believe Canada was, or what it was. And it hasn't really been what we thought it was anyway for years. It was a corporation like most other countries. Seems like they all sold out to big corporations a long time ago. We're all like in this community finding that out. But it wasn't even legally that, it looks like. I think this really takes it apart. And I think it goes to that big reading I did at the beginning of the year. You and I, you asked me, look at the whole year, and we did a great big 7-card layout on that.
Yeah.
And the top card, the hidden influence, was the Tower, systems down. And I feel like it means everything in officialdom this year, so 2025, is going to get undone. So it felt like what Charlie said undid some things in a more official way. Maybe it's undoing the rituals that bound us to the lie that we've been living, that is pretend Canada, And
I'm curious also, because we have to admit there's a stolen land story behind all of this, right? From the natives. Same thing could be said in the United States. So if here in Canada, there seems to be a move to maybe give back those lands to the proper custodians of it, are we going to see a similar move in the States? Right now, we're not hearing any of that rhetoric, but I'm curious, in my view, you can't have one without the other. If you're going to do a truth and reconciliation and you're going to bring out history, you can't do it in a vacuum or just in Canada. You have to apply it equally across the board. So what do you see for the U.S.?
Well, that looks like that doesn't get talked about this year.
Okay.
That'll be for another time. Look, now we got the Wheel of Fortune there. So that's more like maybe a year from now. Or that might get talked about a year from now.
So it's in the cards. It's just a little bit further out, perhaps, than Canada. Now, the question is, why is Canada going first? Is it strategically to either weaken Canada's sovereignty in light of what Trump is trying to do, and that's why that's coming out first now? Is it actually a power move? Because a lot of people, even the Globe and Mail, yesterday in an article. They said that the king's speech here and presence in Canada was actually seen as an act of weakness, not an act of strength. That seems to be the popular opinion right now.
It
So
looks like it's because we're in tougher shape and we've got like absolutely no accountable leadership, and we haven't for a long time.
we're more under control of the WEF
Yeah.
than the states are.
Yeah, we've been in really worse shape. And all
Right.
these years, people have been like, my dad's favorite saying is, we're in the best country in the world. We have the most
Yeah.
freedom. He brought us up all thinking that. And I've come to believe it's quite the opposite. We're one of the worst.
Right. I want you to do another poll here, and it's going to be more of a touchy subject also. This is a great question on the screen. If you want to do a shuffle there, wouldn't that be something if the natives of the land became in charge? Fantastic, this person says. Hold that thought.
Can I bust into that for a sec?
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay, just real quick. My opinion about that is anybody who's in charge, okay, like just because they're Indigenous status peoples doesn't make them better, smarter, better in charge. Like our family actually has status, and it doesn't mean like there's a lot of corrupt people with status, okay? So my thing is, I feel like all us humans have to get together and figure out how we're running things. I don't think
that's
handing
kind of
it
where I'm
over.
going with this question. So I'm totally with you on what you just said. I think we're moving away from this centralized power. Humanity needs to decentralize at this point, disintermediate. That's also for the banking system, the politics, everything, governance systems. I think this is where we're going to thrive moving forward. Although we need some, maybe a very small percentage centralized representations in terms of dealing with other countries and perhaps off-worlders. We'll get to that question in just a bit. But generally speaking, I think the move is going away now from the centralization of power. So that's one. Number two, unfortunately, the sad reality is that a lot of these reserves, at least here in Canada, I'm more familiar with them than in the States, but I presume it's the same in the States. They've been conditioned since their lands have been taken over to become vassals of the state. And they've been conditioned also by the state or the powers that be to put them into this perpetual loop of needing social services, access to drugs, alcohol, and all this stuff in order to have these populations not be a problem for the powers that be. And that's created a generational curse on a lot of these natives and reserves here in Canada. So putting them in charge of anything at this point would probably be disastrous for Canada, but more so for themselves. Again, not having had the opportunity to really fly on their own outside of that kind of government system that really corrupted them. And I'm not saying they're corrupt people. I'm just saying corrupted their society here with this vassal state kind of situation. I'm saying that as politely as I can, but that seems to be more than anything else ubiquitous across the board. There are some shining stars, of course, in Canada.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
So what can we do, Janine, here, if that's the case, and there is a movement at the very least here to give them back their lands, their sovereignty? What can the rest of Canada do to help these tribes come back to the glory they once had? Help them be successful also in their own endeavors moving forward to be a sovereign, because we're trying to do the same thing for ourselves, right? So we're all kind of in the same boat together. It occurs to me that we should be helping each other out here, and that we might have a role to play in helping them out as well. And maybe Universe has more advice on that too. So I'm curious what you can pick from the cards there.
Yeah, we're going to have to come together and not separate, like, okay, Indigenous people, now there are rulers. Like this card's about communication, coming together, people discussing things together, and making a plan for the future where it might go in stages. depending on how the healing is going in their nations, who's coming up as their shining stars, that sort of thing. So like taking it in stages and giving them back pieces and parcels of land in stages, not just kicking all the white people off all the lands. Don't forget that there's so many people of mixed heritage here and all over the world. Like most people, even in the Haida Nation, are mixed. There's not a lot of pure Haida people, and some of them might disagree with me on that. Indigenous peoples are largely intermixed. And so it's going to be complicated. So I feel like we need to do it in stages and take it slow and everybody come together and discuss it. Like there's going to be a lot of discussion and they will eventually, I feel like, and I've always thought this, really take a big lead, but it's going to take years and it's going to take other leadership first to get them to that place.
Right. You know what occurs to me too, where I think maybe there's a silver lining in all of this, and why I'm excited to see the Native communities take their power back, is because maybe for once we can go back and bring Gaia and Mother Nature to the table.
Yeah.
In terms of how we govern our affairs. We're so far away from Gaia and Mother Nature now, the way our politicians rule our structures. I think this would be a good return at this point, the way humanity is evolving right now, to understand that Gaia is its own entity and she has a say in all of this. And this used to be the traditions of a lot of our natives here in Canada. Again, more familiar with them than the rest of the world, but I assume it's the same around the world. So I think that would be a very welcome aspect. Do you want to do a clarifiers on that? See if we're on the track there?
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. There's the Mother Earth card. And who's very excited, by the way, to be called to the table.
Yeah.
Like we need.
It's like finally somebody realized I'm here.
We need medicine people and channelers to come together. We need the spiritual element so we can channel what does Gaia want.
Yeah. Okay. Well, I can say I'm cautiously optimistic, but at the same time, at this point, they're comms. They seem to be pointing us in the direction. There has been some movements of giving back some lands. How that translates into the new legal framework of what Canada is going to be named or called or constituted as moving forward, still don't know. I think that's all out in play. But I think we all have the obligation, and not just the Canadians watching the show, but the Americans also, especially if this is coming to them somewhere down the line too, to try to have adult conversations about this and keep our politicians' feet to the fire and to correct course where it needs to be corrected here. Again, we're very far from Mother Earth right now.
Yeah.
Okay.
Can I just say one more thing?
Sure, of course.
You have to stay away from victimizing Indigenous peoples. Like if they stay in victimhood, it's just what I've noticed is it keeps them disempowered. It's disempowering. Anybody coming from, I'm a victim and you need to say you're sorry forever to what your ancestors did. And in fact, it was the globalist governments back in the day. The pioneers didn't probably even know what was going on. Do you know what I mean? So these globalist governments are pulling all of these strings and stealing all the lands and doing the things they're doing, wreaking the havoc, and to victimize all white people as, okay, they're the colonizers. Okay, that's offensive for one thing. A lot of us are mixed race, secondly. And, nobody I know would personally want to be Indigenous people's colonizers right now. So we got to stop doing that and start a fresh start and work together in teamwork to get it done. It's staying victims for the Indigenous people. It's not going to work.
Well, let's do another poll here because, again, I said I'm cautiously optimistic, and I don't trust the monarchy. I don't trust the government to be doing the right thing right now, although they appear to be going in that direction with some of these moves. Are they playing a fast one on this? Is this a legal strategy of some sort to maybe further enslave us by dangling something in front of us and distracting us while they're doing something else, Janine? Or are they maybe all capitulated and playing out now some type of white hat operation that's bringing us closer to the ideal here that we've just pulled? What's really going on behind the scenes here, and how vigilant should we be moving forward? Oh boy.
Well, we got this war card in the middle.
Yeah.
We've got the Hierophant on this side, which is like the powers that be that would be involved in the steel and those sort of evil deeds, the type that would have handed out blankets, like the Hudson Bay handing out measles blankets, like those kind of stories, right?
Yeah.
So the powers that be that did the steel in the first place, that's definitely like in the day would have been the deep state government. Okay, so here we've got, this is us though. So we're strength. And this card's like through the hardship, we're stronger, wiser. So we've got a lot of wisdom through everything that all the people, including the indigenous peoples of all the lands, went through. So there's the wisdom of what we never want to be doing again and how we never want to be enslaved again. Okay, we have to keep that in mind going forward, but we also have to draw on our strengths from all of us. So it's not just the strengths of those people, like, because then we have to figure out, well, who are those people anymore, right? So it's like we have to draw from the strength of our combined situation we find ourselves in and come together against the governments, okay, these guys who organized the whole thing in the first place, right? Instead of fight, because they're going to try to keep us fighting each other. That's what they've been doing all along. And here's the next thing that happened. Before any of this can go forward, we have to understand, and this is the general population. I don't think it's necessarily this community, because I think a lot of us do understand who's the real enemy. Okay, because there's not just deep state white people, by the way. There's every culture is involved in deep state players. They got deep state players. Even indigenous peoples have deep state players. I know some chiefs and really high ups politically. Indigenous peoples are part indigenous that are some of the most deep state, sold out, sell out, soulless people ever. I know some medicine people that are absolute pedophiles and scumbags, but I also know some really good ones. Okay, so we need to understand who really are. It's not a culture that we're dealing with. It's a whole group of people that are soulless or choose not to come from a good human place. Right? So it's a whole different kind of enemy, right? It's not based in a culture or a group of people per se. It's actually laced through all peoples, right?
It's a system with, yes. Absolutely.
Yeah, so it's trickier than that. So it's going to take a little time, but we have to educate the general population so we don't fall into, we have to like bow down to all native peoples, give them back their land. Okay, because some of them might be the worst thing. That could be the worst thing you could do.
You just mentioned, well, thank you for that. That's a great answer. But you just mentioned in that spread, the Hudson Bay Company giving the smallpox blankets to the indigenous, right, to move them out of territory, to make them sick and to wipe them out. Isn't it fascinating in your mind? And this is irking me. If you're a police officer, you say there's no such thing as coincidences, especially if you're at the detective level. Well, here the Hudson Bay Company, of course, is filing for creditor protection and intends to restructure all of this as we're giving back lands to Indigenous people in Canada. Things that make you go, Janine. This goes far deeper, as you say here. It's way more complex than we think. So fascinating. Okay, now let me set up the second part of this. So I'm interested in having more relationships and governance roles shared with the indigenous people, again because of their very nature being closer to nature and to Gaia, the planet itself, but also because of their closer nature to the extraterrestrial story. Now, in many native groups here in North America, also in Australia, there's a lot of history of them being bestowed what is called star bundle knowledge. And so different tribes have different pictures of not just the evolution of this planet, humanity on it, but some of the visitors that have taken part in that evolution. And so now, in the context of us evolving to another level, to maybe having war break out with the ETs, I think these star bundle knowledge are very important to come to the forefront and us having, again, adult conversations about it. A number of years ago, I was in New Mexico with Joe and Dave. We were on the treasure hunt, and we met this medicine woman, and we told her the healing ceremony we were doing on the mountain, and she invited us to one of her tribe meetings. And her chief was kind of angry that she had been sharing some local information with these white dudes. And she kind of snapped back at him and said, no, they're here, they're doing the work. Our kids don't want to, they're not doing the initiations anymore. And the planet is at that point where this information needs to come out and we need to work together. And so eventually the chief kind of saw it her way and shared more information with us. And so I think that's what's on the verge of happening on the planet on a big scale, as people want to go back to our roots, understand our history, and also not be fooled by the fake alien invasion and all that. We need to know the interactions we've had with ETs in our past, recent and also not so recent history. So I think, yeah, somebody's saying the Navajo, was she Navajo? Yes, she was Navajo. No, wait. No, she was Dakota, not Navajo. So yeah, so I think that's a critical point. So having said that, just to preface this section of the conversation tonight, I want to go to a video from Cliff High on his Substack. You and I kind of touched on this yesterday, but we're going to go a little bit deeper here tonight. Again, in the hopes of having this conversation, adult conversation with humanity, to maybe steer us away from this world war with the ET that is still in the data and somewhat still in the cards as a possibility. We were pulling on that the other day, and we were looking at ways to mitigate that and to get to a higher resolve or to a higher highest outcome for humanity. So if you haven't seen this, guys, go to Substack. The video is called I Blame Heidi. Here Cliff is explaining or talking about essentially the triune human and how we are divided into three components: the knower, the doer, and the thinker. I've had videos with him on this subject maybe 5 years ago. This one is even more succinct. I think he did a really good job. But he was talking about when he died the third time here in this life's body, that he was having a debate or a conversation with the knower and the thinker. And they were trying to convince him to go back to Earth. And he was like, no, I'm dead. I'm old. I've been fighting cancer for decades. Don't want to go back. Look at that body on the table down there. I don't want to go back. And so they promised him three things, he said in this video: meaningful work. And he's like, well, I like work. I'm a workaholic. But again, been there, done that. Don't want to go back. Not enough. No. And then they said, well, we're going to promise you that you can die in battle. And he's like, ooh, that's pretty cool. I'm a warrior. I'm a martial artist. That sounds interesting. But again, looking back at the table and the dead body, because he was floating on top, he's like, that whole riddle thing, how do I bring that into battle? So he's like, no, don't want to do it. No, I want to stay dead. And then finally, it was the third offer. You're going to get to, I think the way he said it is either find love or be in love in the later stages of your life. And to that he said, oh, okay, that's interesting. And so immediately he was shot back into his body. But what I want to get into and why I'm prefacing that is that second part, the die in battle. So Cliff, having done the meditations over his years, having increased his chi. When he crossed the death barrier 3 times in his life, every single time he got a little bit more data from his knower and his thinker. And as you practice these exercises, including the one in the Japanese yoga book, you can strengthen that channel between your knower and your thinker, and it makes you a little bit more adept as a human than the humans who are not still awake to all of that and are just running around as pinballs in a pinball machine in their lives, right? And so he thinks, and he's of the feeling and the opinion that dying in battle to him, in context of the data that he's seeing, could be in this ET kind of invasion, kind of attack that could be worldwide. So he's seeing that as a possibility, but in that same video, he does also say, but maybe it doesn't have to be that way. Maybe we can achieve peace through strength. Again, some of these martial arts techniques. So this is where you and I left off on the last show, and we were asking, what do we need to do as humans to again reach that higher evolution, or the highest potential outcome for humanity, away from war, death, and killing, but really into a situation to where maybe we negotiate, maybe we find new relationships and new agreements with these ETs. And so that opened up a whole can of worms, because you said the main thing we needed to do as humans was to come to the table and actually talk about it, and not say, oh, that's just stupid, it's tinfoil hat. Like, we need to be serious about this at this time. So that's where we left off on the last show. Am I missing anything there in the preface, Janine? Make sense?
No,
okay.
You covered it. Yeah.
Okay. So I think my first question now is then, where is the pulse on this ET war? Because again, here we're seeing now what appears to be a united world effort. All of these deals Trumps have been making over the last couple of weeks here towards this golden dome. At first, we thought it was North American, but it appears that Mark Carney here kind of slipped in one of his comments where he said Trump was he was praising Trump, by the way. Again, in this wacky world of ours, he was praising Trump as a transformative president working towards world security, not just the North American security. We were kind of gleaning here in December when he was talking about Greenland and annexing the Panama Canal and all that. So where are we in that right now, in the context of what Trump's doing and in the possibility of that war hitting us without having had the opportunity as humans to say, oh, hold on, maybe we can avoid war, maybe we can renegotiate, maybe that's what Trump's doing with taking over of the Vatican right now. Where are we on that scope, Janine?
Interesting. This is us, and this is a wish and desire card. And this card here is a knowing of a hurtful thing, or having heard something that wants to be hurtful. So it's like maybe they've heard, because this is an information card, swords or thoughts and words. So they heard about a situation that was coming that could potentially hurt us or hurt humans. And this card's in the past, the Knight of Swords. So I think it was the White Hat Alliance who got wind of this. Now, I think the Alliance has ways to look along the timeline. Okay, so not, realizing that time doesn't work exactly the way we think it does. I'll just say that. So they can look along the timeline and see things.
For the sake of the conversation, you're talking about Project Looking Glass, for example, just so people understand what you're talking about.
Yeah.
Okay, not necessarily that, but something akin to that. It could be remote viewers for all we know, but something akin to that, giving them an edge on the rest of the humans here, looking forward or into the event stream, as Cliff calls it. So some type of tech or practice or mechanism. Okay.
Yeah. And so they were lucky enough, because they feel like they got a jump on the situation and could develop something. And I feel like it's already been developed. So it could be this Golden Globe situation. Who knows what really it is that he's talking about? I think it's technology that is protective somehow, and also might have early alarms if these things are coming at us from wherever they're coming at us. Because I'm thinking underground, I'm thinking under the ocean, I'm thinking out in outer space. If there is an outer space, I think they're coming from all of those areas. Okay, so we've got the Page of Pentacles. So it's like an early alarm, I think, and then maybe stopping things to some degree. And they were already heads up about it and were able to do something that they look like they're pretty proud of. Like it looks like they think it could work. Okay, so here we've got the 8 of Swords. So a lot of people don't really want to know about this. They literally, this is how does the general population. So they got this soft expose from Trump. They as good as said it. So did Carney. They're all saying really the truth there. There's something that we're going to need protection from. And Trump seems to be ahead of the game, and he's the one putting it together. Okay, that's been as good as said out in the open. I couldn't even believe when Trump was talking about this Golden Dome. That was about as forthright as they've been about anything, right? And this card says, but a lot of people are going to go into total denial, even right up until, events will come, it looks like. And they're energies and entities that align themselves with the powers that be that have been known as the Khazarian mafia and or puppeted those energies, right? So it's definitely something that is, I think, could be a thing, and it looks like we're ready for it to some degree. And it will be shocking for people to realize they can actually be attacked from forces that aren't just regular human forces that we're used to.
Now, let me ask you at this point. You said they heard something, either through Looking Glass or something else. Could it be the Sycamore chip analyzing the message that came back from Voyager? Is that what got their their noodles in the twist or their panties in a bunch? Or is it even before that they were aware of something here that they're working on?
I think it was before that, because this card's a nostalgia card, so it goes into the past.
Further back.
Yeah.
So are we talking about secret society kind of books that might have foretold this, the second coming of Christ, which we now understand is probably the second coming of these Elohim guys? Is it that far back? Or is it more of a signal? Like I said, again, technology or something here, maybe in the last 50, 70 years since Roswell. What do you see?
I don't think it's anything you just mentioned. I think it's something totally different.
Could it be something they found in Antarctica?
Oh boy, now we get that's more of a yes card, yeah.
Huh. Fascinating. Okay. That's neither here nor there. I'm curious, but I'll keep that piece of the puzzle as we move forward here in this data stream. So now we have to go back to last year when we had this mass UFO sighting, not just in the United States, around the world, but the media was paying more attention to the New Jersey drones at the time. You had pulled on the situation at the time, and you kept pulling the 3 card. There was 3 aspects to the drones. Some were absolutely not earthbound, some were garage enthusiasts, and some might have been retrofitted or retro-engineered stuff by our space programs. I believe those were the categories you had at the time. But what was interesting at that time, Trump, who had not yet been inaugurated, was asking the pretendency for more details. But he did rant about Bedminster, where he has a golf course. And he says, I'm not going to go there. I'm going to stay away from there. That place could be dangerous. And he kept going on and on and on about Bedminster. And somebody today in our viewer question show, that was at 3 p.m., guys, for the IAP and the pay-per-view, somebody asked us about the White Swan event at Bedminster. I'm like, wait, did I just miss something? What are they talking about? Well, they were talking about the White Swan event at Trump's golf course. And so I went up and looked it up live as we were doing the show. And I'm like, oh, wow, attack at Bedminster. So I'm like, okay, that's a qualia if ever there was one. And thank you to whoever was asking the question today. So we were like, okay, guys, I know there's a troll in the chat. Sorry, I'm concentrating actually doing the show. Let them do what they're doing. I'll get back to it. If there's some moderators in the chat, please deal with it. So at this point, we were like, oh, this is very important. Trump was alluding to Bedminster way back when. And in those data sets that Cliff had predicted the New Jersey drones, maybe a month or so or 2 months before they actually came, was also the fact that the New Jersey drone situation that we would have this fall was merely an entree or a setup to then having an ET or a revisitation of that in June and July, right? So if I go now to the emotional data stuff that he had sent us in the last Wacky Woo, June and July here are we're just there. We're just about to enter this peak here, as Trump is talking about now, attack in Bedminster. So I'd like you to do a poll on that attack.com, whether or not it's a qualia here, or like Cliff was saying, a return to the fall situation with the New Jersey drones coming up here in a big way for June and July. And if so, like, what can we expect? How is this going to roll out, so to speak?
Wow. It does look like it's some kind of a situation that, again, partially they knew about, or they had some information on, which is why maybe he's mentioning the city so many, or the town so many times. So they're expecting something to happen there. So it feels like eyes on the place. There's stuff going on there. And this is a victory card. So whatever does happen there, event-wise, it's expected, and it'll be handled, it looks like, really quickly by White Hat Alliance. So maybe part of the war breaks out there.
You mean...
Absolutely.
You mean like human kind of 3D war, or you're talking about an alien war?
But more, well, I just pulled two to clarify, and that's definitely like, that's our alliance card, but it's also otherworldly.
Off-worlder, yeah, card. Yeah.
And
Wow.
and Ace is like really creative. And this is interesting that the moon showed up here. I wonder if it even involves energies moon related, or a situation where we get to understand what the moon really is, or like some kind of fight comes off the moon. Because we know the moon, or well, I believe anyway, that the moon is some kind of space station, and it was planted in our galaxy. I don't think it was planted in our orbit or what. However, it was planted there. We'll just say that.
Yeah, I'm with you on that. I think most of the audience is. Yeah. But that's interesting you mentioned that again with the moon, because this has been a theme at least for a year now. It started with Watch the Moon. Meg was getting that in her Astro as well. And now recently, as we're talking about this ET thing, you keep saying moon. Cliff talks about the selenites on the moon, also on the backside of the moon. Maybe that's where this is coming from also, where somehow that's exposed, the information comes out. Who knows? Okay. Bedminster attack, alien attack. What do we do to stay out of harm's way right now? I want to do that, and then we're going to talk about some of the current distractions, like the Epstein killed himself, didn't kill himself, all that stuff that we're seeing in the news today. So let's ask here, how do we protect ourselves from all of this crazy stuff? And again, I'll remind you, guys, I think it was on the Wednesday show on pay-per-view. The advice there, too, was the first one was to have these conversations, to bring this out into the open, to bring our attention to it, to pull maybe a little bit more data from our knowers and our thinkers so that we can get a bigger picture on our radar here as to what's happening, and to not leave it to officialdom to negotiate with us, right? To really change a global consciousness on this for the highest good. That was the advice the other day. Let's see if we can drill down a little bit deeper on that one tonight, Janine.
And I'd say that's still the advice.
Okay.
Like, even if it's uncomfortable. So the justice card does what it needs to do, even if it's uncomfortable, and not hide from it. Have the conversations. Keep the conversations going in your social medias, and that ace there. So it will become a hot topic again. And I feel like, yeah, we need to just keep the conversations going and keep it in the flow of information. Remember, I really believe in election day this last, like November 5th. Honestly, everyone's input in the whole truther community and all our energy combined and keeping all the information current, I think we dodged a bullet that day. I think the whole community dodged a bullet, and we actually helped the White Hat Alliance do what they needed to do. I really do. And everything seemed to change slightly after that day. And I feel like we definitely are having an effect out here.
Yeah.
So in this case too, the same thing. Keep it on everybody's radar. Don't go into denial or just ignore it. It's something that needs to come up for conversation. And then also let things develop. Don't assume like so many things are going to fly around about it. We're going to hear this, we're going to hear that, we're going to hear all kinds of mistruths and half-truths and full on fear porn and all kinds. Like, let things sit with your intuition and your inner knowing, or what does Cliff call it? Your doer and your thinker and your all those energies. And I've felt those different energies. I've had conversations. I didn't die to have them, mind you, but when Cliff talks about that, that really resonates with me. Yeah. I've had I've negotiated with my higher self on several things. So I just love that video that he put out about it. But anyway, so that we got the Knight of Wands. We're going to need to stay vigilant and digital soldier as we go, and also really flexible, because information will come and we have to be flexible. It's like we thought the ostriches were killed, and then we find out they've been just at the last minute taken off the chopping block again. Okay, so we just have to stay current. There's going to be all kinds of things come out. We have to keep watching. Don't just take one person's vision truth for it. Like, don't just take it for truth.
Well, that's great advice. And I just found a file. I don't know if I can bring this up for you guys. My daughters, a number of years back. Yeah, this is it. Is that one? They drew this after watching a Cliff High video. So what year is this? 2018. Wow, they were young. Anyways, they were explaining to my parents. So let me move the cursor off there. Thank you, Bill and Ted, I think, for that comment on the screen. That was nice of you. Yeah, so she wrote down, this was Audrienne, my eldest, and she was just trying to explain to my parents how humans were built. And I have this like flip chart at home, and we were using that a lot for home teaching and stuff like that. Anyways, that was her drawing. You can't really see there, but there's the 3 circles intersecting the knower, the doer, and the thinker. And she had the 12 doers right there, the male, female in sequence as well in there. And she put herself there as Audrienne. You can see AA here, 2006. Anyways, she was extrapolating her next incarnation. Fascinating kids. This is how much a Cliff was affecting people. Yep. Way back when. Okay, and okay, I'll show you this one too. That came from the same email. Let me see if I can bring this up for you guys. These are my daughters, again, way back when, buying Bitcoins at a Bitcoin ATM. Man, life is funny, right? And yeah. I'll do another show on that at some point, but look at the twins there. They're so cute. Audrienne also taking care of her sisters there. Anyways, that was so cool. Okay, so let's play. So basically, it's getting weirder and weirder. We're seeing all of these weird. This whole subject is weird. 1, and 2. Now, everything happening with the distractions seems to get weirder and weirder. Whether that's the comms from the king, the comms. Elon Musk leaving, what Bongino is saying now about Epstein, all that stuff. So before we get into the weird stuff, let's hear also what Dorothy has to say about the weird stuff. She recorded a message for us for the last Wacky Woo, and I think it applies here tonight. So let me share that with you guys, and then we'll come back for that third segment of the show.
Fans and fellow truth seekers, this is Dorothy Clay with Pure Bulk.
not sure why it's not coming up.
Buckle up, because this week on The Wacky Woo and Beyond Mystic, John Claude and Cliff High are diving headfirst into the Summer of Madness. A full-blown sci-fi reality is unfolding right before our eyes. Think cosmic revelations, tech twists, and human drama. It's weird, it's wild, and it's only just the beginning. But in times like these, when timelines tangle and truth becomes stranger than fiction, you've got to stay grounded. That starts with restorative sleep and re-energizing the body. And that's where Pure Sleep comes in, your go-to ally to wind down, relax, and truly rest. And to help you thrive during the chaos, we're giving you 20% off almost everything at purebulk.com, including Pure Sleep. Just use coupon code SUMMERMADNESS at checkout. Stay strong and live pure at purebulk.com. Now, back to the show.
Thank you, Dorothy. Isn't she lovely? Guys, if you met her at the Beyond Mystic conference, everybody told me, oh my God, that person is so amazing. They just fell in love with Dorothy. And so thank you, Dorothy, again for that deep discount. A lot of people having trouble sleeping, myself included. These times are kind of weird. Janine also, we were talking about that the other day. So big thank you. And if you guys are having trouble sleeping, yeah, check it out. Pure Sleep, Cliff High's concoction there at purebulk.com. And again, the code there was Summer Madness to get the 20% off. Okay, so speaking of weirdness, this whole Epstein didn't kill himself, killed himself. We don't know what the hell's going on. Let's go to that screen. I'm gonna see if I can bring the audio in for you guys because I want to parse the words of Dan Bongino carefully before we have you pull and ask some questions here. So let's bring that up for the audience. This one. And it's kind of weird in the way too. And James O'Keefe encapsulated it. He says, just curious, why is the first priority to release the video of him killing himself versus, like everything else we've been waiting for months, right? Good question, James O'Keefe. But let's hear what Bongino has to say on this subject matter here.
What we see in the file. I just want to be crystal clear on this. I am not asking anyone to believe me. I'm telling you what's there and what isn't. Right. There is nothing in the file at this point on the Epstein case, and there's going to be a disclosure on this coming shortly. We are working through there is video. That is something the public does not.
There's video of him killing himself.
No, not the actual act, but the entire MCC Bay, it was only one camera. There's video that when you look at the video, and we will release, that's what's taken a while on this. We are working on cleaning it up to make sure you have an enhanced, and we're going to give the original so you don't think there were any shenanigans. You're going to see there's no one there but him. Right. There's just nobody there. So I say to people all the time, if you have a tip, let us know. But there's no DNA, there's no audio, there's no fingerprints, there's no suspects, there's no accomplices, there's no tips, there is nothing. If you have it, I'm happy to see it. There's video clear as day. He's the only person in there and the only person coming out. You can see it. So
I'm a little frustrated, Janine. There's a few things in there that irk me. As a police officer, I say, what do you mean there's nothing there? All the cameras were off on routine maintenance. All these things. There's a lot of questions he's not answering here, too. But at the beginning of that, he says, there's nothing on the file, period, at this point, period. That's the kicker. So he's been given limited access, or he's limiting a hangout on this conversation at this point. But the question is, truly, really, I want to go back to what O'Keefe was saying. Why this? Who fucking cares at this point? Why don't we get the rest of the material? Yeah. Why are they making a big hoopla of this? Is this a big distraction for the Golden Dome? Distraction for something else? A workup that's leading towards, I don't know what, perhaps why we have Alcatraz, Guantanamo Bay, and many prisons being updated and upgraded in the United States right now. What the hell is this all about? Again, people are so confused. Well, why? Why are we having this conversation again? Janine.
I'm super distracted by what looks like a really interesting mask he's got on his face that you can even see the lines of it here.
You're talking about this, the haircut?
I don't know, man. I'm just not buying that's just a haircut. He's got a really bad barber if that's his haircut.
And he also looks a lot thinner there than he was when he was on the Bongino show, right? But then again, he could be under a lot of fucking stress in this job. So I don't know. That haircut though, it's kind of in style. I'm seeing more of these guys do that, where they come to the edge very close with a clipper and even with a razor blade to make that effect. Maybe. But to your point, why don't we start there with the cards? Is this Bongino or somebody else playing Bongino? Let's start there first.
He's even got folds in his neck. And like, I get it. We can have lines in our neck, but they look a little exaggerated to me.
Okay. Well, let's just ask.
Maybe his shirt's too tight there.
Maybe. Or he's busting a vein with all the stress of keeping a straight face with this lie. I don't know. Guys in the live chat.
I'm just being what pops out to me.
Well, that's the whole point of investigating. Guys in the live chat, yes or no, is this Bongino? I want a live poll. Yes, it's Bongino. No, it's an actor wearing a mask. Yes or no?
It's a double.
Nah.
It's a double. That's a double card. Somebody that agreed to play him.
Wow.
Yeah, so we've got he's under some kind of, he's in hiding or hidden away, squirreled away, hidden away, in hiding, underground, maybe gone under something. And then this card here. So going forward, we might even see. So it looks like there's two different people playing him. So you watch for maybe the thicker looking guy and this thin guy.
He looked a little short there, by the way. Bongino, I think, is pretty tall. So I don't know. He looked a little short there and skinny, in my opinion. But he wasn't standing up. But I don't know. It struck me. You're right. There's something weird there.
Something's going to come out here that they want you paying attention to this guy and questioning who he is, because something's going to come out. Their intention, their desired outcome is that something shocks you that comes out about that guy. So
you were kind of getting the same thing with Kash Patel the other day.
Yeah. Remember who he used to work for?
Obama. Yeah, he was defensive about that too.
Yeah.
Was he there for the hot dog parties and looking the other way?
Yeah.
He said that he had people working who couldn't do their job anymore, but he never mentioned that he had seen that. At least I don't remember him saying that on his show.
Yeah.
Okay. This is breaking news there as we're live. President Trump just announced that Elon Musk will be doing a press conference tomorrow from the Oval Office at 1:30 p.m. So Elon Musk is out of Doge. That was announced yesterday, I believe. In line with your cards, you said it was closer than or sooner than later. Last time you pulled on this, that yes, he was actually going out. You actually said that it was part of the plan. He was never intended to be there for very long. It appears also here that he's taken zero payment for the role that he's worked in the White House, giving back his time for this particular effort. What do you think this has to do tomorrow? Is this more, hey, we found all this, fuck Trump and the big beautiful bill, because he seemed to be a little bit at odds with him in the last couple of days on that. Is he going to bring back the idea of auditing the Fed and filming from there, because that went away? Is he going to talk about all these money printing computers? Or is he going to actually start talking about maybe the moon and Mars and these advanced warning systems that they seemingly want him to implement or be part of for the Golden Dome initiative? What's the speech tomorrow, Janine?
I think he's going in those kind of directions. So he's going away from politics and into his own interests, which would make sense to what you're saying. And also like travel and future, really advanced travel. So that could be the whole Mars thing and rocket ships and all the stuff. It feels like he's letting us in on some of his vision, more of his vision.
Yeah.
We've got the Three of Swords here, which is like, I feel like there's also things down the road we're going to find out about the real Elon Musk that will create us to understand why he was probably tribunaled or taken out a long time ago before this guy. They just needed this guy's brand and this amount of people that would watch because it's him. Right. I think he was brought in to like kind of bring in the Space Force side of things.
Yeah.
And help us understand, some of the like the AI stuff.
Yeah.
But the actual person was definitely from a deep state family. You just got to look at his mom to know that.
Yeah.
And, some of the stuff he was up to.
Uh-huh.
It's definitely not the same guy. Doesn't even look like him, in my opinion.
He did an interview the other day too. He struck me as looking a little bit different and even younger. I don't know. We'll follow Musk here a little bit more in the next couple of days, see where it goes and what the point of all of this was. And he might be also leading, so to speak, his successor into a certain direction. That's what I'm going to be watching for tomorrow. Again, if he wants to go to the Fed, auditing the Fed, or Fort Knox for the gold and all that. So we'll listen carefully, and we'll come back and we'll report for you guys on that. Okay, so let's go other side of the world. I saw this earlier today. See if we can go to the live chat. A little town in Switzerland just disappeared because of a huge landslide. So here's the before and after picture. And there's quite a few videos of this happening live. And as this was happening, your email and mine, people are asking, hey, JC and Janine, tonight, can you look at this? Is this man-made? Is this some type of weird ass attack on a village there? Was there something of strategic value maybe on the ground there that they're trying to get at? What's the story with this landslide?
And were people alerted, and did they get out of there? I didn't hear about
I do not know. We'll bring up some of the news here. Massive glacier collapse triggering landslide that buries the village. Update on landslide. I don't see death toll so far. Man missing. Okay, 64 is missing. Yeah.
That's not very many for something that buries a whole town.
No, let's say missing report. See if we can get a little bit more on that. So far, I see glacier collapse buries 90% of Swiss village. One person missing. So, no, that's interesting, eh?
Yeah, looks like it was done purposefully. So that card there is a strategic card. And the Fool here, so this is like unexpected, unexpected, but then we've got a strategic card, but maybe made to look like a natural event. So strategically made to look like a natural event. Okay, now here we've got the Four of Swords. So they're trying to hide something from the general population.
People are asking the town. The town is called Blayton, Switzerland.
Wow.
What are they trying to hide, Ginny?
And this card here says it might be part of the war as well. So between deep state and alliance. So they're burying something, hiding something, or putting it underground even more, something. So I don't know what exactly I mean by that. We've got the Chariot. So according to the Alliance and White Hat operations, they were successful in this. So this was war coming out in the open again, or they've been fighting there. There's been some kind of fighting going on. And here we've got the Tower. So they created this to hide something, I don't know what, or to bury it or put it under for good.
So I'm looking up CERN on the map and see if that intersects with that underground, maybe. So bear with me as I'm trying to come out of that. Where's CERN here?
I feel like with this success card with the Tower, they were successful in averting a way bigger catastrophe, is kind of how I'd read that.
Okay. Huh. No, it's on the other side of the Lausanne or Geneva Lake there. So it doesn't appear connected to CERN, but you want to do clarifiers? There could be more installations like that we don't know about.
AI specifically said it was CERN, some part of the concern. And it looks like it's part of, and there's more things. More things going on, but CERN somehow connects up there. Who knows?
Some type of interconnected project.
Interconnected, yeah. And then we've got the Hanged Man. So the Hanged Man is something that'd been there for a really long time, hidden, and after time came to the awareness of. So that's why it's part of the war. I feel like something was going on there for a really long time, and it needed to be dealt with.
Okay.
Something bad, something that would have caused a way bigger disaster.
Mardav 999, a portal? Something to do with another portal, maybe?
Wow, that could be a yes there, because yes.
Wow.
Whoa, and CERN does seem to open up portals.
Yeah. Wow.
Maybe it was like something that was initiated by CERN and needed to be handled. Because this card could be like, it started in CERN. Right.
Wow. Dude, it gets weirder and weirder. Janine, we're already past the hour mark. You want to give away some prizes?
Sure.
Yeah? Okay, so let's give away, let's start with some candles. These are the natural candles from Carla here at Ascension Organized. Let me see if I can bring that on the screen for you guys. We'll give away this set, I guess. Janine, do you have a question for the audience members to give this one away?
Beautiful. Okay, let's see.
You want me to go first while you think?
Yeah, you go first.
Okay, so I want 3 words. I want 3 words. Sorry. I want 3 words. Man, I need more coffee. It's been a long day making fun of myself. So I want 3 words that include the different aspects of the triune human. So your answer has to include the 3 words in sequence of the aspects that put together the triune human. And while we wait for that to populate, I also want to remind you guys, if you haven't already taken the medicine card course, Janine put this up quite a few months ago on the Academy. It's now available at 50% off using the code medicine50. And Janine, why is that one so different and so fun for people who are just starting to use the qualia of universe here to discover and to plot their life course and their mission? Why is the medicine card deck so interesting to you?
It's archetypal. So if you look that word up, if you don't know what it means, it talks about people's personal energies, or even like the energy of, because anything could be archetypal. Like, what's the archetype of this house I want to buy? So the kind of general energy of, right? I use that word in lots of different ways. And you guys know me, I don't always follow rules. So that may not be the way it's said to be used, but it's like it describes something that a person or an object or a situation is carrying a certain energy. And what is that? And it also helps us when you learn to use those archetypes. It can help you understand how to be in a situation. Who were you in that argument? Who is the other person? What were they bringing archetypally, energetically? So what were their totems they were bringing? What were their energies they were bringing? And how to best navigate in a situation. I used to use it when my daughter and she was a teen, and things were pretty rough when she was a teenager, like many teenager mother relationships or parental relationships. And I used to go, okay, that fight we just had, who was I in it, to understand my energy and what I brought, and what did Raven bring, and how do I go forward to help, clear it up? Because obviously I was the adult, and, I needed to make the moves, because, we're dealing with a teenage mind, right? So but I wanted to understand, was I out of balance there? What was I bringing? Or was I right to be bringing that energy? And it really helped me through so many personal situations, like what to bring in an interview, what kind of energy, what totem to bring in there. What are my natural totems? How do I naturally behave in a relationship? What kind of energetically or totem energy do I need to attract to make a relationship work? Stuff like that.
Very cool. Guys, check it out on the Mystic Academy. Again, Medicine50 is the coupon code. Get 50% off there. Really cool course. And check it out on the Academy page. All right, so let's look at the live chat. Janine, let's see if we can bring this up on the screen. Let me know when to stop the feed there.
Stop.
Okay, knower, thinker, and doer. Earth Dragon. Yes, that's the right answer. Congratulations. You're the winner. I think you've won before. Send us an email at Beyond Mystic. Go to the top of the page and fill out the tech support form, and we'll get Carla to send that over to you. And next, of course, also from Carla, big thank you to Carla for all these beautiful gifts. This is the Norwa pyramid, beautiful pyramid, also organite pyramid here from Ascension Organites. Janine, do you have a question for this one?
Sure. So what card do I often point to when and when I notice it, I say, oh, we're talking about the theater or the movie right now. Something playing itself out.
So you're looking for the card.
What card do I say that about?
Okay, very good. And while we're waiting for that to populate, guys, please mosey on over to ascensionorganites.com. Currently, there is the Father's Day giveaway sale there right now. If you use Father's Day, first of all, you get 25% off. I think it's everything on the site. It's a really good discount. And you can also enter with your purchases to have an entry on this draw here that Carla is going to be giving away later on here for Father's Day pyramid, and more prizes to come. So check that out. Great discount, and also ability to win more of these amazing prizes. So that's ascensionorganites.com, and the coupon code there is Father's Day in one word, 25% off. Okay, Janine, let me go back to sharing this tab here just to make sure. Yes, and let me know when you want me to stop.
Stop.
My cursor is on North 2020, Magician card. That's correct. That's a great answer. North 2020, I believe I've never read your name out loud. So if you're not sure how to claim your prize, go to the top of the page here at beyondmystic.net. Fill out the tech support form here under the About section, and we'll get that to you. If you're wondering about all these shows and what we produce on a weekly basis, that's the board there. And there's a lot this week. It's a big week. Check it out at beyondmystic.net/schedule. And while you're there, guys, if you like what we do here and you like these shows, you want to support us doing even more, please consider the pay-per-view editions for about the price of a cup of coffee. Jenny and I do 2 or 3 of these a week for pay-per-view and for the Insider Access Pass. And if you already like them and you want to support us and be part of the insider track here, asking questions while we record these shows for pay-per-view and IAPs, please consider the Insider Access Pass discount right now. IAP 15 will give you 15% off and access to everything, including priority seating here for all of these recordings. And it also has the exclusive Janine channeling videos that are nowhere to be found but here on the Insider Access Pass. So you don't want to miss that. So check it out at Beyond Mystic. And thank you to all the IAP members. You indeed make it possible for us to do all of these shows and to be fighting the censorship. I don't know if you saw, but Canada just the other day with the CBC complained about a newscaster who was doing Canadian politics, and they wiped their site off of YouTube like that. No warning, no strikes or anything. So we might be in store for more of this censorship. And guys, thank you, every one of you, for supporting us. While you're there, too, check out the BM10 coupon code for Floraline as a website. So these are the organic soaps that Aline has created in conjunction here with Janine for the Beyond Mystic soaps and the Tarot by Janine soaps. Check it out there. Lots of cool stuff also there for Father's Day. So BM10 will give you 10% off of these amazing, crazy soaps. Removing, of course, all the toxins from your life is definitely a priority as we move into this crazy, crazy world of ours. So check it out, florininfarm.ca and also ascensionorganites.com. Janine, before we go tonight, do you want to do like a poll on where we stand, what universe wants us to know? Is there anything that was bugging you today with all this higher weirdness and you thought, maybe we should address that tonight? What do you think?
Well, I can't think of anything in particular, but I like the idea of just getting the universal look at what do we need to pay attention to in the coming week.
Okay, sure. Well, let's do that.
Like daily, the whole thing changes. It's wild.
Well, yeah, it's crazy.
And the emotional roller coasters are insane, like with the ostriches.
Yeah, that too. People are angry at you today too. It's like, oh my God, they killed the ostriches. Your card said no. And we're like, whoa. That's not in the news yet. I'm not sure who told you that. To the contrary, it looks again like they're going to be saved. But we've been oscillating back and forth here for the last number of weeks. So people are rightly frustrated with all this. I totally understand.
Well, they put up a video when she was really worried they were going to die. And the podcaster assumed, probably kind of a little clickbaity, that they'd been killed, but there was no evidence that they had been. And I shared it on Telegram because I was like, I like to keep up with whatever's out there, and we got to like look into it. But I share everything on Telegram. Like Telegram's where I put all kinds of opinions. I don't always agree with them, just everything that comes out about anything. So you can like go looking into it. And then further on in the day, sure enough, this one came out.
Yeah. So, yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
All right. Well, I think we're out of the wood with the ostriches, but this is a long story. And
and also, even if they said they were, doesn't mean they were.
No, that's the other thing.
They said George Floyd died from somebody stepping on his head. Okay. Like,
Aren't they releasing Derek Chauvin also just recently? Like most people I know were like, no, that can't be. He's a black guy killer. I'm like, maybe you need to read Mariam Henin's book and do some more research. That was one hell of a psyop, of course.
Yeah.
Okay.
So many of them.
So many of them. Yeah, it's frustrating. Okay, so you asked what universe wants us to know the week moving forward.
Interesting. The magician card came up. So we're going to get some brilliant theater here in this weekend, it looks like. So pay attention. You're going to have a lot of theater, and the real truth will be hard to decipher. So again, I'm not necessarily saying fear porn, but distractions for sure this weekend. We're going to have distractions from what's really going on. So we'll have to really do our own digging to find out the truth about things. Really busy in the background, really busy with the good military, and even regular normies might report for the weekend military activities in their town. They won't know why it is happening. And of course, that's been on again, off again. And we know why. Whenever I hear it, I always know. I'm like, okay, I bet that's what white hat military stuff. Okay, so you might hear tales of that towards the end of the weekend. Here we've got the Queen of Pentacles here. Advice to us: before you get caught up in some big drama, like maybe around the ostriches or maybe around Epstein or whatever it's going to be sure to just wait and sit on things, because the very opposite news could come out within hours of that news. So just be careful. Lots of distractions and misinformation this weekend. Okay, so whatever it was, oh my goodness, you guys. So we got a big storm here in the Haida Gwaii, and look at I got raindrops on my glasses. So I ran outside to check. I've got Starlink, and everything was fine, but I got booted off internet for that long. It took me that long. So sorry if you're still watching. It was just getting exciting. It was just getting exciting. So have a look. Here's what I placed down before I even realized nobody was seeing what I was getting here. It's a little dark. Oh, hang on. Hang on. We got live. Yeah, that's the raindrops from the storm outside. Anyway, so here we are. Here's what I was laying down, and we were asking, is there a secret war, okay, that they're preparing for secretly because it's too scary for humans? Is it going to be one of these big events that I've been getting for years, that Trump's been preparing and knows about, or the White Hat Alliance knows about an event coming? Okay, or events even that are natural or can't be they're not necessarily can't be changed. They're going to come. I wonder if this is one of them, that there's these entities on their way to Earth here, or do here, or have threatened that they're coming, to take back their adrenochrome because they've been stealing adrenochrome, stealing our children, stealing human sacrifice. We are like where they harvest. Earth is like a slave planet, and they've been harvesting humans, okay? And they're using the Khazarian mafia and these creepy entities, 13 bloodline families who like worship these entities, okay? From maybe when they first arrived here, many hundreds and hundreds of years ago. Okay, so they've created this. They might have even created hybrids and then left their hybrids behind to do the bidding of. And then that's why they like to intermarry in those 13 bloodline families. And that's also why they create outside, like not in natural ways, they create children and place them in the families, etc. Anyway, so many rabbit holes all tie together when you look at it like this. So what I asked was, is that really what Trump's doing on that crazy timeline, not on the timeline video, but actually in the Middle East right now? Okay, so it looks like whatever he's doing, it's a big secret. So it's not what you're hearing on the news. And this card here, so this is interesting because this card has a lot of boundaries and is very forthright. And he's definitely in charge over there. So it's not necessarily like they're just treating him well. He's actually a big deal. And he's like a leader of some kind somehow to whoever it is he's really meeting there. Okay. And it looks like they're creating, like this guy could be creating, or this, it's the Queen actually of Swords, but she's very direct and she's creating policy, or she's enforcing. She's more of an enforcer actually. Okay. So that's interesting. And here we've got the world. So it does concern the whole world. So the thing will affect the whole world. So that leads me to believe with these major arcanas, 3 of them in the first 4 cards down, leads me to believe it's an absolute yes. I believe that what I described to you is going on is actually going on. And I wouldn't even say we're too far off. I think I'm nailing it here. I'm going to be honest. Okay, so we've got the Fool. So this is the general population. So it'll affect everyone, but almost no one knows about it. Even the truther community's not really picking up on this too much. Some really great coders in the Q organization, or people that follow the Q drops and followed when they were dropping on the regular. I feel like a lot of them might be onto this. So we've got that Fool card here. So going forward, and it's like they don't want to let anybody in on this yet until maybe he needs to gather the support and the alliances together before they let the regular folks in on it. So here's the Woo community card. So this is our advice. Stay in your intuitive knowing. Be a sovereign being as much as possible in your daily life. Live in a way that you're a sovereign person, like just every day, one day at a time, not complying to stupidity, foolishness, or when your rights are completely being bulldozed over. Like, don't comply to foolishness. Stay in your personal integrity, also in your intuitive knowing. And the Two of Swords. Okay, be ready at a moment's notice, because when this becomes public, a lot of us will probably kick into our warrior mode. So be ready at a moment's notice. So I got a feeling, I think we're on to something here. Wow. Okay. Now, I want to talk about what Jens has going on. Now, speaking of what I was just talking about, discernment workshop, I think we all need that. The amount of fear pouring out there and the amount of misinformation, even in this community, is astronomical. So this workshop with Jens would be absolutely a good idea, okay, if you need sharpening up on discernment and you just need a little support and moral support. Jens is awesome for that. So there's a 10% off on this, and it's happening, I believe, this Sunday. And I think it's at, hang on, 1 Eastern this Sunday live. Okay, so you want to get in on that. Also, don't forget, we have these beautiful soy candles. Okay, so Carla made these. They're much larger than the other candles, which were beautiful too, by the way, and burned for a really long time. But these are some real nice ones. These are like your altar candles. And there's one for, the Sending Ravens logo, and also one for the Beyond Mystic logo. So for those kind of collectors, you're going to love these. Okay. And also you go on over to Carla's website for that, her Argonite website. Awesome. So my second look today, okay, is going to be about these in British Columbia here. I live in British Columbia, Canada. And there's this big story going on about these ostriches. Okay. So there's these ostriches on a farm that, in the big hype of the BS avian flu or whatever, so bird flu scare, which of course we know is just deep state BS. Okay. And at this point, I'm thinking PSYOP, okay, to wake people up. They did a bunch of testing on all kinds of animals, including in particular birds, and birds in captivity, right, at places like this ostrich farm. Okay, so I believe these ostriches, I believe there's 40 of them, or is there? No, it says 400. 400. Okay, and they've been slated. So months ago, they tested for the flu and they came back positive here in this farm. But it turns out, of course, the test they used was the very same test they were testing for, guess what? COVID. And we all know that was a BS test. Okay. You could have sent in swab from a watermelon, and people did do this, by the way, and it would come back positive. Okay, so the watermelon had COVID, do you know what I mean? So the test was never designed, to be used the way they were using it. They used it for this bogus, bird flu, whatever. And then these birds were in the crossfire. Right. And then, so 3 months later, they've been in quarantine and not a single bird got sick. They're all perfectly well. They had outside people testing them, of course. And of course, the birds were perfectly healthy, beautiful, healthy birds. And now this judge, okay, and they've outed the judge. So I think they've even doxed the judge. And I say good. Okay, I'm afraid those people need to be outed. Okay, people need to know the names of these people that are doing these kind of things. Okay, so they've outed the judge, and they've also outed the health minister in British Columbia, who has condoned this and is actually said they're going to kill these birds. So the final word, according to the courts here, and that our courts are just as captured as they are all over the world. We can't trust these systems, you guys. All of these systems are deep state and have been deep state. But what I'm wondering is, could this be a PSYOP created by White Hat Alliance to wake people up? Okay, so we're going to look at that first. Like, is this really happening? Because it's suspicious, because a lot of the things they mention are things I've already seen in the cards have been like some of these people they're talking about have been rounded up already. That PCR test has already been completely outed as a fake. Like, there's so many things. Like, it's almost like we're on two timelines all at the same time. We've got the timeline of total and utter stupidity and sheeple compliance to absolute silliness, and then our timeline, like this community's timeline, and we're like, what? We're way past that. That's got to be a PSYOP. So I want to know, are they really going to be put to death too? So if that can also come up, we might need two layouts for that. But let's start with, is this a white hat PSYOP to wake people up, or are they really actually condemning these birds to death? Okay, we'll start there. And we need to write to these judges and these health ministers, okay, and or email them, write to them. Okay, this looks like a PSYOP though. Look at, guys. Look at that. Okay. So you've got the magician card in the past. So this was all designed white hat, PSYOP, alliance. That's my alliance card. And that's information being put out. The alliance put the information out. That means it's a PSYOP. That's part of the movie card. That's the movie card in the past. This is part of the movie, and it's meant to show you just how dysfunctional our courts are, just how like treacherous they are. They're all like designed not for humanity. Okay, they're against you entirely. Everything to do with our systems are designed, not to support any kind of humanity and or common sense, frankly. Okay. And so that's what it's trying to do. It's putting a big spotlight on the dysfunction of it. Now here we've got the king, we've got the 5. It doesn't really look like these birds are going to be put to death. Okay, so even if they put a story out that they were, I'm not going to believe that story. Okay, so I mean, I'm not going to get my panties in a twist over it. Okay. You guys can if you want, and for the sake of the PSYOP to wake people up, I guess, whatever. But I'm personally not going to feel this card and the outcome and like temporary setback. They might even at the last minute give a nod to these birds and say, okay, I guess we won't kill them. And it could even be because of the public outcry. So it's really important to outcry. Okay, if you see this story and it touches your heart, definitely get a hold of these people, and they've been outed as who they are. So get a hold of them through email, phone them, like whatever it takes, right? Write them. Except you better send it fast mail if there's such a thing. Yeah, because this card here doesn't really, I'm going to pull 2 more to see, are they actually safe? Okay, Wheel of Fortune. So I really feel like at the last minute, okay, the death card. So, but the death card isn't actually a death card. Here's what's funny about the moon card is my death card. Okay. This card is not badly aspected. It's well aspected. So right at the last minute, everything changes, that says. So it might even be public that they get sort of saved by maybe public outcry. I hope that's what it is right at the last minute. So there's a big change right at the last minute that takes them out of the route they were on, which was the death march. Okay, so that's good. That's good to know. And so even if they tell you they killed these birds, I'm feeling like it's a PSYOP. All righty. Wow. Okay, thanks so much, everybody, for putting up with that crazy interlude there. You had a little time off in the middle of the video here where I disappeared and couldn't get back in. Sending everybody ravens in these crazy times. And don't forget, tarotbyjanine.com if you like my work.
Không thấy cô có phản ứng gì. Anh ta đi sang, đứng trước mặt thì hơi bất ngờ, cười thầm. Cô ta thật lạ, ngủ ngay ở đây được. Cao Phong nhẹ nhàng ngồi xuống cạnh Dị An, rồi lấy một bên tai nghe của cô. Dị An bất chợt lên tiếng, hé nửa mắt về phía Cao Phong. Cậu không biết là lấy đồ của người khác dùng cần xin phép sao? Anh nháy mắt cười còn tay vẫn đeo tai nghe lên. Hình như tôi chưa được học cái này, hôm nào cô dạy tôi nhé. Dị An chẳng muốn đôi to với cậu ta làm gì. Cô muốn nghỉ ngơi một lát và hưởng thụ nốt cái cảm giác ở nơi này. Không biết bao giờ cô mới trở lại nữa. Sao cô không biết tiếng Trung mà lại thích nghe nhạc Trung vậy? Dị An vẫn ngồi yên, giọng có vẻ hơi châm biếm. Vậy là tôi không được nghe bài hát Trung khi không biết tiếng sao? Giờ mới biết. Cảm ơn đã chỉ giáo. Cô nên học tiếng Trung đi. Nhiều cái thú vị lắm. Nếu cần tôi sẽ dạy miễn phí cho. Vậy cô học tiếng Việt, tiếng Anh và tiếng Pháp đi. Khi nào cậu nói được 3 tiếng ấy thành thạo thì tôi sẽ học tiếng Trung. Dị An mở mắt lấy lại tay nghe của Cao Phong, nhưng cậu ta nhanh tay giữ lại, vô tình cầm vào tay cô. Dị An cau mày. Cậu hay lợi dụng con gái nhỉ? Các cô liếc xuống tay đang bị Cao Phong nắm. và hất tầm ý vào cậu ta vung ra. Tôi chỉ lợi dụng với các cô gái xinh thôi. Theo cô, nếu ngồi cạnh một cô gái xinh mà tôi không có biểu hiện gì thì có phải không đáng mặt đàn ông lắm không? Vừa nói cậu ta vừa cười, tay chỉ qua chỉ lại giữa hai người. Gian nhếch mép cười rồi tắt nhạc chuẩn bị đi. Tôi có được hiểu là cậu đang khen tôi không? Cao Phong đứng lên trước, đưa tay cho Di An kéo đứng lên. Anh chàng người Pháp khi nãy gọi và vẫy tay Di An rồi lại gần chỗ họ. Di An, cho tôi số điện thoại, khi nào sang Việt Nam sẽ gọi cho cô. May quá, tôi chưa về. Di An lấy điện thoại của anh ta, bấm số của mình rồi cười đưa lại. Anh chàng người Pháp ngẩn người nhìn Di An, nói nhất định sẽ sang Việt Nam tìm cô. Cao Phong thấy anh ta như vậy nên lấy tay chắn ngang mặt hai người. Cậu nói với anh chàng người Pháp bằng tiếng Anh: xin lỗi, anh không được nhìn người yêu tôi như vậy. Cao Phong cau mày nhìn Di An, cúi cấm nói. Anh chàng người Pháp ngượng ngùng xin lỗi rồi bắt tay lại điện Di An. Sau khi anh ta đi, Di An quay sang Cao Phong nổi cáu: cậu đang nói lưa thuyên cái gì đấy? Hình như cậu cần học lại pháp hình sự nhỉ? Ai mới gặp cô cũng cho người ta số điện thoại nhỉ? Có vẻ người cần học hình sự và cách giữ khoảng cách với nam giới là cô đấy. Cao Phong thấy mình thật vô lý khi tự dưng nổi cáu, nhưng anh muốn cô ta biết không nên tiếp chuyện và làm quen dễ dàng như vậy, rất nguy hiểm. Di An ngước mắt lên nhìn, mắt như sắp khóc. Cậu biết gì mà nói? Tôi sắp đi Pháp học, việc biết thêm một vài người bạn khác là rất tốt. Tôi thích thì tôi cho. Cậu là gì mà cấm tôi hả? Di An nhìn Cao Phong bằng ánh mắt tức tối rồi bỏ đi. Cao Phong biết mình sai nên chạy theo đi song song với cô. Lần này mà để lạc lần nữa chắc là sẽ có chuyện. Anh cố gắng giải thích. Xin lỗi, tôi không cố ý đâu. Tôi sợ cô bị người ta lừa thôi. Di An vừa lấy tay lau mắt, vừa đi băng băng mà không để ý đến lời Cao Phong nói. Đi một lúc thì cô bị Cao Phong gọi giật lại vì đi sai đường. Ra ngoài, Cao Phong đi lấy xe. Di An tranh thủ nhìn lại một lần nữa, tự nhủ hy vọng một mùa thu khác sẽ tới đây. Cao Phong ngó người ra phía cửa kính gọi: Di An, lên xe đi. Nhanh chóng lên xe vì sợ làm tắc đường. Di An cài dây an toàn rồi mở cửa kính nhìn bên ngoài. Giờ cao điểm ở Bắc Ninh cũng kẹt xe như ở Hà Nội vậy. Ở đây họ đi ô tô nhiều nên cô cảm giác còn tắc đường hơn. Cô không sợ bụi làm hỏng tóc và da mặt à? Cao Phong đang cho xe hết từng chút một và muốn làm hòa với Di An. Quay ra nhìn Di An vẫn thấy cô đang tựa vào thành cửa xe mà chẳng phản ứng gì với những câu hỏi của anh. Cô ấy sẽ phản ứng với tí đẹp. Nghĩ vậy, Cao Phong cho xe rẽ vào một ngã tư để đi đến một nơi khác. Một lúc xe đã ra một đường mới khá thông thoáng. Gió thổi mát lạnh. Tóc anh là xòa trước mặt mà Di An chẳng buồn vén lên, hãy lấy miệng thổi phù phù. Cao Phong bật cười lắc đầu. Lần này bước không mở lời lần nữa. Lúc nãy cô trốn đi đâu mà kỹ thế? Hại tôi sợ muốn chết đi được. Vừa nói, Cao Phong vừa quan sát biểu hiện của Di An. Cô ngồi thẳng người lên, vẫn không nhìn Cao Phong nói: Tôi đi một lát, tưởng cậu đi sau, nhưng khi quay lại không thấy. Tưởng cậu thấy tôi phiền phức quá nên bỏ tôi đi một mình. Vậy nên tôi đã đi theo đoàn khách người khác đó. Tôi hướng dẫn viên giới thiệu. Đến đây rồi. Cậu không hướng dẫn thì tôi phải tìm cách mà tìm hiểu chứ. Lần sau tôi sẽ không làm phiền cậu nữa. Dị An nói hết thì quay sang nhìn Cao Phong, rồi lại quay sang nhìn phía trước. Tôi xin lỗi, mà nghĩ nên đi chậm làm lạc mất cô. Tôi không thấy phiền gì cả, lại rất vui khi đưa cô đi chơi thay thầy Tô. Thấy Dị An mỉm cười, anh nói tiếp. Bây giờ tôi đưa cô đến một nơi nữa cũng rất đẹp, nhưng lần này nhớ đi cạnh tôi không lạc nữa. Nghe thấy đến nơi khác thì Dị An mắt sáng lên, quên luôn cả việc đang đi tìm Cao Phong. Hả? Cậu lại đưa tôi đi chơi tiếp hả? May quá, sang đây có cậu, không thì tôi biết chỉ cho tôi ở nhà. Cảm ơn anh lần nữa. Dị An đã nhanh chóng lấy lại nụ cười mắt sáng rực. Nhìn Dị An cười lại, Cao Phong cười thầm. Cô ấy đúng là dễ bị dụ mà. Cao Phong đưa Dị An đến đại lộ được mệnh danh là con đường tình yêu. Mùa thu này lá vàng trải kín như thiên đường. Họ gửi xe bên đường rồi đi bộ vào. Anh rẽ vào một cửa hàng ven đường mua nước cho Dị An. Bất giác đi đến cạnh cô uống hết nửa chai rượu, mà anh lắc đầu cười. Sau khi mở chai nước, cậu đưa về phía Dị An. Cô uống nước đi. Cảm ơn nhiều. Sao sang đây tôi toàn phải hiện phát ý nhỉ? Cảm ơn sao? Không được uống nước. Cảm ơn Cao Phong cười, lấy chai nước dở trên tay Dị An uống nốt rồi bỏ vào thùng rác. Dị An ngạc nhiên cười. Cậu không sợ tôi mắc bệnh truyền nhiễm sao mà uống nước dở nước của tôi? Nếu sợ tôi đã không đi cùng cô rồi. Cao Phong nắm tay Dị An đi sang đường, rồi bước vào con đường vàng như rách vàng. Nắng đã tắt nhưng nó vẫn sáng rực. Rất nhiều cặp đôi đã về đây đi dạo. Họ chụp ảnh cho nhau. Dị An rút tay ra khỏi và đi lên phía trước, cúi xuống nhặt lên một chiếc lá đỏ au, quay lại che nửa mặt cười. Cao Phong nhìn cô chăm chú, định lấy điện thoại ra chụp ảnh, nhưng Dị An buồn lại. Cậu không chụp thì tôi chụp hộ, chứ tôi không chụp ảnh. Cao Phong tò mò hỏi. Tôi có thể biết lý do không? Các cô gái khi đến nơi có cảnh đẹp rất thích chụp ảnh mà. Cô thật đặc biệt đấy.